Level 1. The Kennel Boy. You start where the town keeps what it cannot love, behind the prison, behind the butcher stalls, where the wind drags the stink and leaves it for you to breathe. Your job is small: carry water, scrub boards, feed the dogs that lick blood from cracks. You learn the smell of fear before you know its name. It is sour, it clings to wool, it lives under fingernails. Men do not look at you for long. Not because you are invisible, because you are too close to what they dread. You sweep straw soaked with sweat and urine. You empty buckets from cells. You wash chains until your hands burn. The guards laugh and call you useful. That is their kindness. At night you dream of ropes, not because you have seen them work, because you have seen them waiting, coiled like sleeping snakes, in the corner of the shed. Patient, clean. You lie on a pallet and listen to prisoners whisper prayers through stone. You tell yourself you are only a boy, only a helper, but the work already owns your breath, and the town already knows where you belong. Level 2. The Rope Handler. They hand you hemp and teach you respect. Not respect for the condemned, respect for the rope. It must be dry. It must not fray. It must not break. A broken rope means chaos. Chaos means the crowd turns into a beast, and beasts do not care whose hands they bite. You practice knots until your fingers learn them without thought. Loop, twist, pull. The rope whispers when it tightens. You test it on sacks of sand, on butchered pigs. The weight jerks your shoulders. The snap of tension travels up your arms into your teeth. You walk through the market and people notice the smell on you. Tar, sweat, old hemp. They step aside without being asked. Mothers tug children away. Not fast, just enough, like moving away from a sick animal. One morning they bring a man who will not stop talking. He begs, he boasts, he curses. You are told to keep the rope steady while the noose is measured. The man's saliva hits your wrist when he pleads. Warm. Human. You do not flinch. You cannot. If you flinch, the guards will laugh. If you flinch, you are weak. So you hold the rope like it is a tool and not a sentence, and you feel your heart slowing down. Learning. Level 3. The Hood and the Mask. A face is a weapon. A face is also a target. The older men tell you this in low voices. They show you the hood. Rough cloth. Smells like smoke and old sweat. When you pull it on, the world narrows. Breath turns hot. Sound becomes thick. You are no longer a boy. You are a shape. The first time you wear it in daylight, the crowd changes. They stop seeing your hands. They stop seeing your age. They see the role. They hiss. They spit. Some throw rotten fruit, not to hurt you, but to mark you, to remind you that you are outside their mercy. You learn to walk without haste, to move like you have done this 1,000 times, even when your stomach twists, even when the condemned starts screaming your name, trying to make you real again, trying to turn you into a person with doubt. Afterward, you wash the hood. You scrub it hard, but the smell remains. It is not just sweat, it is the closeness of last breaths. You hang it to dry and stare at it like it is staring back. In the tavern, you sit alone. The bench around you stays empty. You hear laughter, then silence when you shift. You are safer now, hidden behind cloth, but you are lonelier too. The hood protects you from stones. It also teaches you how easily a town can erase a man. Level 4. The Blade Keeper. They trust you with metal at last. Not the sword, not yet. The tools, the whetstone, the oil, the bucket where water turns grey with filings. You spend hours listening to steel sing against stone. You learn the truth no priest says aloud. Death is work. Work is maintenance. A dull blade is cruelty. A sharp blade is mercy. People say that like it is simple, but mercy becomes another duty on your back. If you fail, the crowd remembers. They chant. They shove forward. They demand more suffering as payment for your mistake. They will not blame the Lord who ordered it. They will blame the hands that carried it out. You wipe the blade after practice cuts. The cloth comes away dark. Not blood, rust and grease. Still, your mind fills the color in. You begin to imagine the line the edge will draw. You imagine the weight of a head without a body. You hate yourself for imagining. Then you hate yourself for not hating it enough. One evening, the master executioner lets you hold the sword properly. It is heavier than pride. It pulls your shoulders down as if it wants you to kneel. He corrects your stance with a slap. He does not speak kindly. Kindness makes soft hands. Soft hands make botched deaths. You go home and your arms ache. You lie awake feeling the phantom weight, and you realize the blade is not just sharpened steel. It is a promise, one you are being trained to keep. Level 5. The Breaker of Bodies. Not everyone dies clean. The town has other needs. Confessions, warnings, spectacles. You are brought into a chamber under stone where the air tastes old, like wet iron, like mold, like secrets. You do not ask questions. The master tells you where to stand, what to bring. Straps, wooden wedges, a bowl of water to revive what should have been allowed to fade. You learn that pain can be measured, not in screams, in how quickly a man stops believing in himself. You watch the clerk write as bones strain. You watch a priest murmur prayers that sound like excuses. You learn the rhythm of it. Turn, pause, turn again. A language of gears and groans. At first you feel sick. Then you feel nothing. That is the true terror. The moment your stomach stops arguing. The moment your hands move on their own. You begin to judge the condemned the way craftsmen judge wood. This one will splinter fast. This one will bend. This one will lie. Later, outside, the sun looks too bright. The market smells like bread and onions. People laugh as if the world is not built on rooms like that. You want to shake them. You want to tell them you have seen what their peace costs. But you say nothing. You cannot speak without bringing the chamber with you. That night you scrub your hands until the skin cracks. The cracks do not matter. The dirt is not on your hands. It is behind your eyes. Level 6. The First Swing. Your first true execution is not a grand criminal. It is a thief. Thin, starved, more desperate than wicked. The sentence is death because the Lord wants order more than he wants justice. The crowd gathers anyway. They always gather. You climb the platform and the wood creaks. The thief looks at you with a strange relief, as if you are a door he has decided to walk through. He whispers something you cannot hear. Maybe a prayer. Maybe a curse. The hood traps your breath. Your heart beats loud enough to drown the world. The master stands beside you. His voice is flat. He tells you where to place the blade, how to align the shoulders, how to commit without hesitation. Hesitation is what makes monsters of you. You raise the sword. The crowd leans in. You feel the entire town watching your wrists, your hands, waiting for you to fail so they can spit and call you devil. You swing. The moment is shorter than any dream. A heavy impact, a shudder through your arms, a sound like wet cloth tearing, then a sudden silence as if even the birds refuse to witness. You do not look down for long. You do what you were taught. You lift what must be shown. You hear the roar. It is not joy, it is release. They came with fear in their bellies. They leave with fear fed. Afterward you vomit behind the shed. Not because of blood, because of the truth. You can do it. You did do it. And the world did not end. It only turned its face away, satisfied. Level 7. The Public Spectacle. Now you are used, not only as a tool but as a message. You travel to fairs, to crossroads, to places where rebellion might sprout. You build gallows in the morning and take them down by dusk, like a traveling theatre with one play. People recognize your cart. They close shutters. Dogs bark. Children stare until their mothers pull them back. You live in inns that serve you last, in rooms that smell like cold ash. You eat alone and hear whispers through thin walls. They call you cursed. They call you necessary. They call you worse than the men you kill. You learn to manage the crowd, to read their hunger. Some want punishment. Some want entertainment. Some want to see a powerful man humbled. You cannot give them all what they want, but you must give them enough to stop them from turning wild. When a hanging goes wrong, the crowd snarls. They demand you pull harder. They demand you finish it with your hands. You climb the ladder and feel the condemned's boots kicking your ribs. You push. You hear a wet choking. You feel the body give up. The crowd cheers like you have won a contest. Later you cannot wash the sensation away, the give of a neck, the way life leaves in pulses. You start to fear your own hands, not because they are weak, because they are skilled. And skill brings requests, quiet ones. A merchant wants a rival gone, a guard wants revenge. They offer coins and excuses. You begin to understand that your trade is a door into other sins, and the door is always ajar. Level 8. The Master of the Craft. The master grows old, his knees ache, his eyesight fades. One day he hands you the keys, the shed, the tools, the authority to speak on the platform. You are no longer apprentice. You are the figure the town pretends to despise while leaning on you like a crutch. You train boys like you once were. You watch their faces when the smell hits them for the first time. You tell them the same cold rules. Keep the blade sharp. Keep the rope dry. Do not drink before a sentence. Do not argue with the priest. Do not look the condemned in the eyes for too long. But you break your own rules in secret. Sometimes you look. Sometimes you see yourself in them. A farmer who stole bread. A woman accused because someone needed a scapegoat. A boy who said the wrong words to the wrong man. The law is a net with holes for the rich and knots for the poor. You begin to bargain with your conscience. You make executions quick when you can. You take bribes to soften the drop. You accept gifts to delay a sentence until a family can say goodbye. You tell yourself you are doing good within a bad system. Then you catch yourself enjoying the power of delay. The way a man's fate hangs on your nod. The way officials treat you with careful politeness because they know you are a witness to their cruelty. You sleep less. When you do sleep, you dream of a blade that never dulls. A blade that asks for nothing but your obedience. Level 9. The Royal Hand. A messenger arrives with wax seals and a sharp smile. The court has heard of your clean work. The king wants order. The king wants a man who does not tremble. You are summoned. The palace smells different from the prison. Perfume over rot, gold over hunger. But the rot is still there, hidden under tapestries. The first noble you are ordered to kill walks proudly to the block, convinced that death cannot touch his class. Until he sees you, until he realizes the law has teeth today. At court you are not spat on. You are stared at, like a rare animal. Ladies avert their eyes. Lords speak to you as if speaking to a weapon. They do not insult you. They do not befriend you. They keep you in a narrow corridor between fear and utility. You are given better tools, finer steel, a private yard for practice, a room near the cells so you can be called at any hour. And you are called, again and again. Treason, heresy, a whispered plot, a cousin too popular, a minister who learned too much. Each death is political. Each death is a message written in flesh. You feel the weight of it. Not guilt, weight. Because now your swing is part of history. Your hand becomes the final signature on a decree. And with that comes paranoia. You know too much. You hear names before they fall. You see the fear behind smiles. You begin to suspect your own name is already being spoken in quiet rooms. Level 10. The cage of your own making. Power does not free you, it fences you in. You cannot return to the old town. You cannot blend into any crowd. You are the man who ends stories. People only want you near when they want someone gone. You start to keep a small bag ready. Clothes, coin, a knife. Not for others, for yourself if the day comes. Because you have watched kings change. You have watched favorites fall. You have watched yesterday's justice become today's embarrassment. A new advisor rises. He looks at you with calculation. He does not hate you. Hate is loud. He is worse. He sees you as evidence, as a loose thread that could unravel a tapestry of lies. He begins to limit your access. He assigns guards who watch you too closely. He asks questions about past sentences, as if searching for a flaw he can turn into a noose. You notice the shift in small things. Your meals arrive colder. Your payment arrives later. The priest who used to nod at you now avoids your gaze. The court is preparing to cleanse itself, and you know what cleansing looks like. You have done it to others. One night you stand in the tool room and run your thumb along the edge you once worshipped. It is still sharp, still faithful. You realize the horror is not that you became an executioner. The horror is that the world trained you to be one, used you, and will now discard you to prove its own innocence. You understand the final level of your trade. You are not the hand of justice, you are the shadow that makes justice look clean. And shadows are always the first thing a torch tries to burn away.